Good day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to wherever you are listening to this in the world. Welcome to our Between the Posts podcast, where we talk about the week's action that has just happened over the previous game week here in the world of football. Russell, Farik, how are you guys doing? How was your weekend?
Amazing. Arsenal
Good. Yeah.
drawing at the London Stadium after being 2-0 up. Oh, what a sight! What a sight to see. The collapse has begun. I told you all the collapse is gonna start soon after the Liverpool game. The collapse. Oh, I've been waiting for this, man. I've
Mhm.
been waiting for this collapse.
Farik, good weekend for you too, I imagine.
Good week. Good weekend. Interesting results across the whole of the EPL over the weekend. So yeah, that's always nice to see. But yeah, we'll talk about
Oh
those.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, I mean, like I am running on very little sleep, guys. Watched so much football over the weekend. Watched multiple other sports as well. Oh, but like you know what? Like I am refreshed in the sense that like I am laughing at Arsenal. Arsenal almost pulling a Tottenham.
I remember seeing a stat somewhere.
Oh, hilarious!
I
Absolutely
remember seeing a
hilarious.
stat somewhere on Twitter that said that this is the first time that they've blown two nil leads back to back since like what 04 05. So like
Wow.
yeah it's quite insane.
It is crazy. Yeah. So like, I guess
It's
let's just dive
concerning
into
as
it,
well.
guys. Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's just dive into it because,
Yeah.
like, we've got a lot of ground to cover. For those of you that are watching for the very first time, we are going to be covering it like this. We're going to be looking at the title race, then we're going to be looking at the race for Europe, and then we're going to be covering the relegation battles. So, first things first, title race. We said a little bit about Arsenal. Let's talk a little bit about that game at the London Stadium. 2-0 up within the first 10 minutes, 2-2 at full time, Saka missing a penalty. Um, I don't know. Farik, reactions.
It's yeah, it's weird because like you said they were 2-0 up in the first 10 minutes and they looked great. Like you thought okay, once they were 2-0 up, like they're just gonna breeze through this, and then I think West Ham's resilience started to show, and I think it was what surprised me was how shaky they were at set pieces, because I think last year when they were a lot more solid at defending set pieces, and like this year was just I mean yesterday it was just I think
Mm.
both of the big chances that they got came from set pieces. There was the one that and Mikel Antonio almost got a header into goal from a free kick, and then of and
Yep.
the second goal was it was a corner that went out, and then the second ball back in found Jared
Mhm.
Bowen, and like yeah,
Yep.
they're just so disorganized at set pieces, and it's a very strong tell, and like if teams, especially Man City, if they see such a weakness, I guess they're going to capitalize on it when because are they visiting? No, they're playing at the Etihad, right?
Yeah.
Arsenal and Man City. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a very big chink in their armor that they have to sort out soon.
Oh, definitely. Like the thing is that that is probably the most unlikely assist that Paqueta is ever gonna have in his entire career. For
Yeah.
a start, like an up and under that really didn't have any hope of. He didn't have any hope behind it. He was just hitting it and hoping,
I
hoping, hoping.
I would disagree with
But
that. I
like
think he was
Russell,
aiming.
like
I think Paqueta intended that, but he tries it so much that now it becomes like it's a hit and hope. That's a short thing about Paqueta. I think he's been a flop. Like West Ham expected more from him. Like he has definitely not helped them. Like I think West Ham played better without him. But there'll be another thing for the end of the season. We talk about all the flops of the season. Yeah, but yeah, Arsenal just look shaky, man. After going 2-0, the first 20 minutes, wow. I thought it was gonna be a massacre, like
they looked
how
amazing. Yeah, first
yeah,
twenty
like how Man
minutes.
City put away Leicester. I thought like it looked like on the same track. So 2-0 up in 10
Hmm.
minutes. They're just cruising. But then I think they started getting complacent. That's where the complacency kick in. And they haven't been in this position before. There's no leaders to like guide them. They're all Like they keep saying they're young team, but I mean, this kind of thing are basics in football where you just have to not put your head down and just like play at a snail's pace. Because West Ham are fighting for their lives at the bottom. They can't lose like by a lot of goals. Like you cannot expect them like, oh, West Ham 2-0 down, they're gonna lose 4-5-0. Like it, the relegation battle at the bottom really looks, it can go down to goal difference. It's so tight. It's like a few
Mm-hmm.
games, like 1-2 wins, and
Yeah.
you slip up. Yeah, so they let West Ham back in with Thomas Partey giving the ball away cheaply, Declan Rice intercepting, giving off to Antonio, and then Gabriel Mangalis going in for a tackle, which wasn't necessary. It was very sloppy. Like he just like, oh, let's go
Mm.
and tackle here. Like he stood up and took it 1-on-1, and the guys like somehow like beat him and scored. I think it's better than just
Mm-hmm.
going flying in. A
Yeah.
penalty is almost like a free goal in a sense, but not for Arsenal. It's not free. They don't like to take penalties. So once they got that goal, I felt like anything could happen. Like you could see the Arsenal panicking. You could see they went in panic stations. After that, all the way up to
Mm-hmm.
halftime, West Ham was on them. Like you can sense, like West Ham could sense blood, and they went for it. Didn't get a goal before halftime, but at the second
Yeah.
half
I
they
mean,
continued. Yeah, they continued.
no, I'm just thinking like, for all of their qualities, right? This doesn't strike me as a vintage Arsenal side, and like they don't have that hallmark of like the great Arsenal teams of yore. And I think this is because it's actually been, for all of its supposed closeness, this has actually been a very poor year for a title race, because we've had two teams that have honestly slipped up more than they should have, right? I mean, we'll get to Man City in a bit, but like I just think like, it's only been a good title race in the sense that it's close, rather than excellent, qualitatively excellent football from the two teams that are involved. Um, yeah, but like, yeah, I mean, just you don't blow 2-0 leads 2 games in a row
Yeah,
and expect to be considered, like, I don't know, as some Arsenal fans would say, better league title winners than previous Champions League winners. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I do wish I could have some of what Arsenal fans are smoking, though, guys. Easy as they come. Haaland bagging another couple of goals. De Bruyne with his 100th assist in the Premier League. Like, how is that? How did that play out in your eyes? Raf, let's start with you.
well, walk in the park for them. Simple. Like 25
Mm.
minutes done. Everybody started to relax. But the thing about when Man
Yeah,
City relax, they just shift the gear down, but
they
their
don't
gear,
switch off.
yeah, they don't switch off. They, they I mean,
Mm.
I heard one of the Arsenal fans that, oh, after they drew with West Ham, he did an interview. He said, oh, the last 20 minutes of the Man City game, they look sluggish. They look complacent. I'm like, that's the last 20 minutes. They said the game was done in
Mm.
25. And it's all sub, or they're bringing
Yeah.
all the players that are like youngsters coming on. They're going there for a run out. It's
Mm.
almost like a training session for them. They did the job in 25. They've been doing this for a while. A lot of people don't realize why their players don't get tired, because they kill the game off so fast that they get to rest all
Mm-hmm.
their star players. Like Haaland was off halftime. He's been off halftime for the past how many games? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Pep has been taking out always, so you
Mm-hmm.
always score 2 goals in the first half and it's off. Easy performance for them. After the 3-0, they were just strolling. But the one thing about Man City that is a bit worrying is they always concede goals. They haven't quite kept a clean sheet for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the only worrying thing for them. Like I would like to see them keeping more clean sheet, because when they come out against Arsenal in the future, Arsenal is very good on attack, so their defense has to be solid. But I think if they're really on it, they managed to keep Bayern Munich at bay. So if they want to turn it on, they can just get a clean sheet. I think this Man
Mm-hmm.
City team is, they always do this every year. They peak at the right time. They just know when to peak, and it's the scariest thing because they're still in 3 competitions and fighting. It means that like they got a chance for a treble. I really hope that doesn't happen. But
Yeah.
and their peak, like they might be the best team in Europe now at the moment. The way they play, like the only hope
Mm.
is
A word on Haaland, actually.
uh,
Yeah. Well,
uh,
I mean, hope springs eternal in that sense. Farik, a word about Haaland. Yeah. He has already scored in just 30 matches. He's already scored 32 goals, matching Mo Salah's total for the Golden Boot a few years back. Like, Uh, I think there were a few pundits that said Haaland has broken the Premier League. Like, what do you think?
I think it's it's down to two things, I guess. Firstly, you can't deny that Haaland is a prodigious talent in terms of goal scoring. Like we've seen, he's been running behind defenders, he's been scoring tap-ins, he's been scoring insane like Zlatan-esque goals. So
Mm.
his ability to
Mm-hmm.
score is definitely like there. But it more than anything, also he's in a team where you have so many insane creators. I think when I was looking at Man City stats last season, they had I think a good like 8 or 10 different players who scored more than 5 goals, which and they didn't have
Mm-hmm.
really have an outright top scorer for the season. And when you have all those
Mm-hmm.
creators and now they have an outlet in Haaland, I mean like it, Haaland just has his pick, so it's he is pretty much the perfect player for Man City's setup. I mean, so there are people who criticize that
Mm-hmm.
say that maybe because they are so focused on trying to get the ball to Haaland that it kind of like takes away from the whole team, but he's
Mm-hmm.
breaking records left, right, and center. And yes, Man City might not be at the top of the table currently, but on form, you can always back Haaland to score every single match. So it's he has he broken the Premier League? Uh, Maybe. Uh, Unless he for me, it's for a. I always put Ronaldo at Real Madrid as sort of like that
Mm.
benchmark because when you get more than 1 goal a game at average, I feel like that's truly breaking a league because who scores more than 1 goal a game on average? Yeah. So if
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
all things considered, if somehow Man City get a hold of Jude Bellingham, that might
Phew.
be the next step next season. So you never know. Yeah, but yeah, he I don't think he's broken the Premier League yet, but he's definitely on the way to doing that.
That would be breaking the Premier League. That
Oh.
duo might be breaking the league itself. Like, I think the thing about Haaland, just touching on it, he missed a few games with injury. A lot of people forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
And those games that he missed were against
Mm-hmm.
like the bottom half of the table. One can only imagine
Mm-hmm.
if he was fit for all the games. Oh wow, he's a different monster
I
lah. He's a
believe
different.
he's a cyborg. What?
Yeah,
Like, and the thing is that like if you look at his traits in isolation, I think Russell, you've mentioned this before.
yeah.
He doesn't have, he can't dribble, right? And like his first touch is only good when it's in front of goal. If it's his first touch everywhere else on the pitch is, well, not Lukaku-esque, but like questionable enough. But
On par,
like,
on par.
that's the thing. He on par. There we go. I mean, we're being kind here.
Yeah.
Um but the dude just manages to be in the right place at the right time all the time, you yeah, he is a monster of a player. And the thing is that like, I guess for the first half of the season when they were still adjusting to him, he was still scoring goals, but Man City weren't getting the results. Could
Yeah.
it then be argued that our, Man City should be in front of this title race, all things being equal?
I
What do you
think.
guys think?
Fari, go ahead first.
I think yeah, on form you would think like especially with some of the insane scorelines that Man City have racked up, that you would think that they would be ahead of the table right now. But that I think that's
Yeah.
the beauty of the EPL in a sense of like you would as
Mm,
dominant as a team is, there's always some other team to come up and sort of like pressure the leaders. I mean, Arsenal obviously this season, but then there's a point of time when both Man United and Newcastle were also pushing for
Mhm.
top spot, and I think Spurs for like
mhm.
a week or two. So that drama is what
Spurs, you
keeps
mean 3 days, right?
for like 3 years. It was really for a split
Yeah, three
second,
days. Yeah.
but the fact that
Yeah.
you have so many contenders like uh, at least in the first half of the
Hmm.
season for top spot, as Sir Alex
Hmm.
Ferguson used to say, like usually once around Christmas and all that, that's when the table kind of like sorts itself out. But I think this is the
Hmm.
furthest
Yeah.
in into a season where we see that maybe the title race isn't as complete as it isn't as done as we thought that it was gonna be. So yeah, it's all
Mm.
things considered, Man City should be top, but then yeah, Arsenal are just giving a hell of a fight.
Mhm.
Okay. I guess we'll preview the match closer to the date in our next episode, right? But that 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 game at the Etihad between City and Arsenal is
Wow.
starting to really get it's getting really big right now, in front of us. So Russell, like, okay, you want to call it right now? Who do you think is going to win the title?
I think I wanted
You
to
think
just
it's
touch on
City? You
what
think it's Arsenal?
City's gonna win because City gave Arsenal a start because they weren't clicking.
Yeah.
That's the thing with a new player in like
Mm.
Haaland, they weren't clicking. They gave Arsenal a head start. We give
Hmm.
you this. I think at one point was what 11? Was
Yeah.
it 11 points? Like we give you this head start. What you
Yeah.
wanna make of it? You do.
Hmm.
When we click, we're gonna come and catch you. If you start fumbling, we'll be there behind you. Yeah, sure. They, I think it was that when Arsenal lost to Everton, all their games, right? If they didn't if they didn't lose and they
Hmm.
just kept up their form, they'd be far away from Man City. Once Man City
Hmm.
smells blood in the water, it is over. They're like a shark. They will catch you. Liverpool has seen it 98 to
Hmm.
99 points. That's ridiculous. I
Hmm.
think Man City didn't lose all the last how many games? I think last 10 games they didn't lose something like that. And
Hmm.
now Arsenal did let it slip. Like they really had it in their hands. The complacency, I think
Hmm.
they were listening too much to their fans. The fans costed Arsenal. They're like, oh,
Hmm.
it's our title. Yeah. Nah, man. It's never your title if Man City is the one chasing you. If Man City is not there, you minus Man City, yeah,
Yeah.
it's your title. We've seen it before when the previous times in EPL, right? There's always a one like outright winner. They never came to
Hmm.
this tight of a title race for a very long time until Man City was in the picture.
Yeah.
United fans, we know it. We
Mm.
lost a goal difference. Was it 1 point or goal difference? See,
Goal difference.
we've been there.
Goal difference.
Yeah,
Goal
we've been
difference.
there. You
Yeah,
see,
we've been
if
there.
it wasn't Man City, we were far away. The guys behind like Man City were far away. It's always a outright winner. Now it's like because Man City is there, you have to perform at 120% all the time when you play. You cannot slip up. You slip up one
Hmm.
game, they're there. Yeah. So it's Arsenal. It's City's title. I'm sorry to all the Arsenal fans, but you let it slip.
Sorry, not sorry though, because like, oh my
Yeah,
god,
sure.
some
I
of you
actually,
guys
I
are
actually really
so
don't care about you all,
delusional.
to be honest.
Jeez.
I look forward to
Yeah.
your failure all the time.